XRP holders, I've just discovered something so insane that you guys are probably not going to believe it by the time I'm done with today's video. I mean, what's going on right now is truly historic. Investors are completely losing all of their faith in the fiat dollar in record time. I mean, you look at precious metals, you look at stocks, and that becomes extremely clear. But I'm going to show you guys the data in today's video and what's going on here, because we just got some economic reports which are shocking everybody. The US Q3 GDP has risen 4.3%, which is much higher than most people were expecting to see. The reason why this is so crazy is the US GDP is growing at record pace, and at the same time, we are seeing precious metals stocks absolutely explode in price during a period of time where oil has completely fallen down in price as well. When all of these things culminate together, and you also see precious metals smashing all-time highs, I mean, we're talking about gold, silver, platinum, all of these precious metals, it tells a very compelling story. The US dollar is about to probably erode in value faster than it ever has historically. Inflation is probably going to get really bad again as well. But asset holders actually have a lot to look forward to, and this is why I'm super excited in relation to cryptocurrency, because this system is going to not be operating the same way for very long. A new financial system is literally right around the corner. I mean, just look at these numbers. It is absolutely insane. US stocks are catapulting in value, and a lot of you guys have been asking me, okay, like, what gives here? The S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, they're all exploding in value. What is happening with crypto? Why isn't crypto going up? It's just going down, down, down during the same period of time. Well, this is actually something that we've seen many times before, and I will be diving deep into that very soon. But first, let's talk about precious metals, okay? Because platinum, its price has officially surged above $2,200, now at the highest since June 2008. 2009 financial crisis might sound very familiar. I'm also going to be diving even further back to that, to the 1979-1980 gold collapse and silver collapse, because we are literally seeing a mirror of exactly what happened prior to all of the previous financial crises that we have had in our lifetimes. Over this period, platinum prices have rallied 32% and are just 5% away from the intraday all-time high set in March. Year-to-date, platinum prices have surged 142%, putting the metal on track for the best year since at least the 1960s. This comes as the London market has seen tightened physical supply, with banks moving metal to the US to hedge against potential tariffs once again. Now, precious metals are a very key component of what's going on right now, because when people are investing into precious metals, it tells one very important message. They are losing faith in the fiat currency. And we have seen this happen historically so many times. It happened during the Roman Empire, the British Empire, the US Empire. It's happened and it's replayed time and time again. We see a massive spike in the value of gold, silver, and many other precious metals during these periods of time where people think an empire has a chance of collapsing, or an economy has a chance of collapsing, and seeing, pretty concerning things. The most notable thing is insane levels of money printing in order to service debt. That is what people are essentially pricing in this time around. Because admittedly, we have a much different economic system than we did back during the Roman era, right? I mean, it's been a lot of time. We have central banks now. Things have changed. But one thing that hasn't changed is the currency that me and you use, whether it's the US dollar, Canadian dollar, the euro, the Chinese yuan, the Australian dollar, you name it. Those currencies, they aren't backed by anything. They are just the debt bubbles, ready to explode. And the only way for them not to explode is to print more money. It's just a never-ending cycle of printing. And the fact remains that banks around the globe right now are sitting on insane levels of unrealized losses, and those numbers haven't really been meaningfully changed over the course of the last 4 years. And, there was a lot of stimulus, and that did help, but there needs to be a lot more in order for this unrealized loss to essentially fully go away. That means the US has to lower their interest rates significantly, and they are going to do so, which means the QE is coming. It is just a matter of time. And so, yes, this is precisely why people are buying gold. But what has happened historically during these periods of time is the US starts the money printer again, and people start cycling outside of gold, which might sound very strange, but investors generally actually price into gold, price into silver, price into platinum before the money printer really goes on. Which, once again, might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but they're pricing it into the market before it actually happens a lot of the time. And this is precisely why, when we look at the last comparable historic rise, it starts to kind of piece together. The last comparable historic rise in precious metals priced occurred in the 1970s, culminating in the 1979 and 1980 crash. Gold surged over 120% annually during this period of time, while silver rose more than 200%. And this was driven by rampant inflation, oil price shocks, geopolitical instability, and speculative buying, which is exactly what's happening right now, including an attempt by the Hunt brothers to corner the silver market. Following the peak in the early 1980, where gold was at $850 an ounce and silver at $50 an ounce, prices crashed sharply. Gold dropped to around $500 by March 1980, and further to $300 by 1982. It actually took nearly 40 to 50 years for gold and silver to fully recover from this crash. Silver plummeted to under $10 within weeks on Silver Thursday, which was March 27, 1980, and the collapse was triggered by the Federal Reserve Chairman Paul Volcker's aggressive interest rate hike, up to 20%, to combat inflation, which strengthened the US dollar and reduced inflationary pressures. For silver, the crash was exacerbated by exchange rule changes increasing margin requirements. So basically what I am thinking right now is we're in the very early stages of this bubble for precious metals. I do think that give a couple more years, we're talking about 2026, 2027, 2028, it's going to become more and more likely that the Fed is going to have to start quantitative tightening again after the QE cycle does happen. And that's going to be the final nail in the coffin for a lot of these asset classes that have grown at, and many people, what they believe to be an unsustainable rate. Now, whether you believe that or not, completely up to you, but we just see the similarities here between what's happened in the 1980s and what's currently happening right now. And I do think we're in the very early stages of this, and I want to be very clear. It's very likely that gold and silver will continue to run for the next year and a half or so, maybe a little bit longer than that even. But beyond that, it's very uncertain, and I do think there's going to be a big pop, like we saw back in the 1979-1980 situation that I covered here. And so this really begs the question, what's going to happen with stable coins, with cryptocurrency? Because the Trump administration's plan right now is to essentially go on and replace this whole debt bubble by, issuing all of these new bonds through the stablecoin markets. And so this is going to be a really interesting dynamic that plays out. Will crypto just become the new standard? Are stablecoins just going to become the new standard? Are we just going to see these stablecoins purchase unbelievable amounts of bonds and all these treasuries and all of these things? I mean, we're going to find out pretty soon. It definitely looks like, the environment supports that. Franklin Templeton's XRP Spot ETF has crossed $100 million in holdings for the first time. People are piling into XRP ETFs and stable coins at a record pace. We can also see that the U.S. federal banking regulator is saying that banks can buy, sell, and custody crypto. I mean, these banks are lining themselves up to say, hey, yeah, this is the solution. Let's all join up together and really go crazy on this whole idea of stablecoins and this new financial system. And so I do think betting on the products in the stablecoin market, the crypto market, that are building out this future is probably going to be the way to go. This is probably going to be what helps us move past and find a new financial system that I hope will serve us better. The U.S. economy, they want to maintain the U.S. dollar dominance. I think the only way that they do that is through stablecoins. And so RLUSD, I'm just going to put that out there. It's going to be a very key part of that. It might not be 100% of the stablecoin market. I know Bank of America and all these other big guys are wanting to launch their own stablecoins, but it undoubtedly is going to be a part of it. And the Ripple is going to be its own bank. and they have the systems to make that happen, man. So I'm super, super excited about that. And I just can't wait to see how this all unfolds. I do think that 2026 is going to be probably one of the most important years for cryptocurrency, where we truly see the potential of a true crypto custodial bank from Ripple, and we understand fully now how stablecoins are going to be fitting into the broader picture of this new economic system. So that's what we need to wait for. That's what we need to be patient for. Guys, so many blessings I believe will be coming in the new year. It's just a matter of patience, in my view anyways. And so I really want to point this out because it's super crucial. Throughout this entire period of time, I'm going to be posting trades along the way. And I want to remind you guys, I have had single days where I've made over $20,000 trading cryptocurrency. And you guys can get access to all of the trades that I make by joining us in my Discord, and it is free to do so. I mean, it is the simplest decision you will make in your entire life, and it's already changed the lives of thousands of people, and you can be one of those people that join in. So, super simple. Just follow my 3-step process on my website down below, and I'll be very happy to enjoy all of you guys in there and learn with you guys, grow with you guys, and navigate these markets together. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Peace out.